Good evening, everyone. Hopefully, you're having a wonderful day. I got a good one for you today. It looks like Pierre and Justin Trudeau were going head to head at Parliament the other day, so I thought I'd do a little commentary on it. So, with no further ado, let's get into it. But first, quick plug. If you like this video, if you could like and subscribe, that would be awesome. And now, to the video.
Oral questions.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition. The Bloc is voting to keep the Liberal government in power, the most centralizing government in the history of our country. They added 100,000 public servants. They have doubled consulting costs, doubled debt, and the cost of housing. Is it not time to allow Quebecers to vote to cut their taxes, build homes, fix the budget, and stop the crime with a common sense government? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, the Conservative leader is offering cuts for programs, cuts for services, cuts in the fight against climate change, all the things that concern Quebecers and all Canadians. They have nothing to offer but austerity and performances here at the House of Commons. They're continued to cut programs like dental care, daycare spots, an investment in pharmacare, an investment to grow our economy with green investments. We are going to invest in Canadians and Quebecers, and they're just there to cut. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition. People who are poor are already seeing austerity because of cuts to their budget. They still don't have the means to buy a house, they say, and this dream just gets further and further away for some, because the crisis just makes housing prices worse, and everything else becomes excessively expensive. In Montreal, when I was housing minister, it cost $500 a month for an apartment. Is it not time to allow Quebecers to elect a government that will build homes?
Yes, not just
The Right Honourable
Quebecers.
Prime Minister, Mr. Speaker, if this Conservative leader is so really concerned with single mothers, he wouldn't have voted against more daycare spots or voted against help for children with CCB. He would not have voted against investment that we're making to create more economic growth for these children and to put more money back in their pockets. But when he was housing minister under Harper, he did nothing for affordable housing across our country, and that's not what we want to be repeated again. Thank you.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Well, that's because he
After 9
didn't
years
need
of
to.
the NDP Liberals, taxes up, costs up, crimes up, time's up. Today, we'll vote to trigger a carbon tax election between the costly carbon tax coalition of NDP Liberals who tax your food, punish your work, double your housing costs and unleash crime and chaos, or common sense Conservatives who will axe the tax, build the homes, fix the budget, and stop the crime. Why can't we bring it home today?
Hear, hear, Pierre. Hear, hear. I like that. I like the sound of that. Less taxes.
Again, with the clever little performance of slogans he's memorized without any actual solutions for Canadians. He doesn't care about Canadians. He cares about his own political self-interest. If he cared about Canadians, he wouldn't have voted against dental care. He wouldn't have voted against more spaces at $10 a day childcare. He wouldn't have voted against initiatives that are growing the economy, putting more money in people's pockets. He wants a climate change election. Let's have that election in the right time. Where we're putting
Nice. Yeah, I agree with that. Let's have an election. Woo! Even Trudeau thinks we should have an election. That sounds good. Hey, look at the Liberals stand up, so they're even down for that. Let me know in the comments below whether or not you guys like
The honourable leader
the sound and whether it's going pretty good.
He just said he wants a carbon tax election on his plan to quadruple the tax to 61 cents a litre. If so, will he call it today?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I believe this on today we will see that this House does not have confidence in the leader of the Conservative Party. Mr. Speaker, we have delivered, are continuing to deliver, reduced emissions, more money in the pockets of Canadians, and success in the fight against climate change as we create jobs and build a stronger future. We are focused on delivering for Canadians the things that actually matter, while he's focused on slogans and clapping. Mr. Speaker, we're going to focus on being there for Canadians.
Focused on slogans and clapping. I mean, not really. When you come out and say 8 out of 10 Canadians are are better off, I think by now Canadians actually know that they're not better off. They're actually worse off with you in power. And it's crazy how this wow, this is not crazy how the Bloc didn't do their vote with the Conservatives as their vote of no confidence, but they should have.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, he's concerned that we're clapping for him. He agreed to a carbon tax election on his quadrupling of the tax to 61 cents a litre, where Canadians will choose between an NDP Liberal government that has taxed their food, punished their work, doubled their housing costs, and unleashed crime and chaos in their communities, or a common-sense Conservative government to axe the tax, build the homes, fix the budget, and stop the crime. He's bragging that he has more politicians on his side. Isn't it really the case that in Canada, the people decide?
Yes, and that's exactly right, and that's exactly the way it's supposed to work here in Canada. The people are supposed to decide what's going on here in Canada and who you want to lead them. But first we had the NDP who started to block an election that we wanted. And now we have the Bloc Québécois, a separatist party from one province, blocking an election. So now they're in charge of choosing who's leader, even though the rest of the country doesn't want the current leader. It's ridiculous.
Prime Minister.
Speaker, with the Canada carbon rebate, the price on pollution puts more money in the pockets of 8 out of 10 Canadians right across the country. But we already know from his misunderstanding of carbon pricing that the Conservative leader doesn't understand.
Let me pull a Trump.
Economics.
Wrong. That's wrong.
He doesn't understand science as well. That's why I'd be happy to give him a briefing on the science of climate change. And good news on this one, it doesn't require a security clearance for it.
I don't know what was so funny about that, or what was so hilarious. Just because Pierre Poilievre didn't want to get a security clearance for the no, it wasn't the SNC-Lavalin scandal. It was the Arrive scam scandal, and the scandal where they had those ministers who betrayed Canada, who are still in Parliament right now. They said he had to get, Pierre Poilievre could get his security clearance to see that. But if he got a security clearance, then he couldn't fire anybody if they were part of his party, and he couldn't tell anybody that there was traitors in his midst. So that's dumb.
Order, please. The Honourable Member for Belleuil-Chambly. Mr. Speaker, the Bloc announced a good faith proposal that was reasonable about topics that have already obtained the support of all parties in this House. I would like to know from the Prime Minister if he can give us his word that he will quickly consider the Bloc's proposal to benefit seniors and farmers. The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, on this side of the House, we've already shown many times that our priorities include help for seniors and protection of supply management. We have shown this and will continue to do so. We'll continue to work with other members of this House to deliver for seniors and to deliver for our farmers. We know that there are concerns that we can work together on, and we're going to do so because we're always here to help Quebecers and all Canadians in these difficult times.
And I hate supply management with a passion. It's like we have a cartel here for our dairy and eggs and milk, well, which is dairy. And it's holding up our deals with the UK because they want to trade cheese with us. We're saying no. And so they won't trade with us, at least for their food. Hey, Spiritual Outlaw, how's it going? This is kind of just a watch Parliament while testing live streaming out, so let's continue.
The Honourable Member for Belleuil-Chambly. Well, here we go. This is a good opportunity. Seniors for whom he cut their purchasing power, and farmers, not only in Quebec and in Canada. We need to be more specific in terms of the intentions. Will the Prime Minister start a conversation with his sometime partner in the NDP so that we can have this project come to fruition in the timeline set out? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, we are obviously going to look at this and debate this bill, but if we want to be specific, I'd like to underscore that many seniors in Quebec and elsewhere in the country that I've spoken with this summer said that they saved hundreds of dollars with visits to the dentists that were covered by the Canadian Dental Care Program. And unfortunately, they don't understand why the Bloc is opposed to this care for seniors in Quebec. It saved them hundreds of dollars, and we'll always be here to save seniors money.
Trudeau, you know that Trudeau knows that's not what the Bloc is talking about. They're talking about seniors 65 to 70 earning the same amount of pension as 70 and older. That's what they're talking about. But of course,
The Honourable Member from Burnaby South.
Liberals don't want to address that.
He's telling people you either pay up or go to the back of the line. Daniel Smith is privatizing healthcare in Alberta right now, and this
No,
Prime
she's
Minister
not.
is doing nothing.
No,
about
she's
it.
not.
Doug Ford is privatizing healthcare in Ontario, and the Prime Minister praises him. Why is this weak Prime Minister letting Conservatives tear down our healthcare system?
I see that the Prime
Yeah,
Minister is rising.
spiritual outlaw. It is
Speaker,
crazy
this
nonsense
House,
going
we've
on.
always defended universal health care, and we will continue to do. But the member opposite has a point. In those provinces, the NDP was unable to stop Conservatives from getting elected and weakening universal health care in all those places. That is why we are going to continue to stand up for universal health care, to stand up for progressive values, and indeed, to stand up to Conservatives.
Oh, and our healthcare is doing so well right now. If you're not dying, then you're going to have to wait 6 months for an x-ray or getting your knees fixed and stuff like that. How is that helping old people? My grandparents alone had a hard time with just getting surgeries. But that's all I got for you today, folks. What do you think? Who do you think won, Pierre Poilievre or Justin Trudeau? Who do you like more? Personally, I'm more of a Pierre Poilievre guy. But, like I said, let me know in the comments down below if you like this. If you could subscribe and comment, that always helps the video and helps the algorithm. Also, if you'd like to donate, there's a buy me a coffee thing down below, and every little bit goes to the channel. So with that, have a great day.